Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Mijello Mission Gold Class watercolor set, so let's get started. So I bought the set quite a few months ago and I took my time to use it for quite a while so that I could give you a good review on it. I've actually really enjoyed using it, and I bought my set from Amazon. I will have the link below so you can check it out. The only thing is that the price does fluctuate quite a bit, so keep your eye on it. It is still a very competitive price in comparison to my Winsor Newton set or Daniel Smith, Schmincke, a lot of those artist grade quality ones. The price is still really good, but definitely check it out. It's worth it. The set that I got, by the way, is 36 tube color set. It does come in a 9, 12, 24, and 34 if you're interested. So you can, again, look on that on Amazon and you'll find that too. So regarding Mijello, they are a Korean brand and they actually make artist grade quality paints, as I just mentioned. The light fast for most of the paints that are in this particular set is, well, light fast it ranges from 1 to 5. For most of these pigments, it's actually between a 3 and a 5. However, I haven't been using the set long enough to actually make sure that that is an accurate light fast rating, but that's what they have listed on their box and on their website and etc. when you look into it. So the box comes like this. It's nicely packaged, and when you do open it up, the palette on the inside looks like this. Okay, I'll show it to you closer in a second. It does come with a brochure on the inside, and it lists all of the 105 colors that Mijello has that they produce, and all of the names of the colors are in English. However, the rest of it is in Korean. It does tell you what the light fast of each of the colors is and what pigments are used in all of it. That part again is in English, but pretty much everything else on the brochure is going to be in Korean. Just like that. Before we move forward, I just want to show you some of the pieces that I've done using the watercolor set. The reason I want to show you guys this is because my art needs may be different from your art needs, in which case this palette may not work for you. If you're looking for more earth tones or neutral colors or pastel or paler colors, even pure pigment colors, this palette might not be the one for you. For my needs, which is basically doing a lot of these really bright, colorful pieces like galaxies and Milky Ways, kids illustrations, florals, and hand lettering. It's excellent for hand lettering. It really meets all of my needs, and I absolutely love this palette for that. If you want to watch any videos of me using this, I think I've done a tutorial of this one, and at the end of this video, before this video finishes, I'll put up a video of me painting this floral piece too, but I have quite a few watercolor videos that you guys can check out. I will link them in the bottom also for you to check out. Okay, so here is the palette. So when you open up the box, you will have all of these paints in these little boxes here. Now, I don't usually have these boxes here. It usually looks something like this. I keep it empty, and I have my brushes in here sometimes. But I'm just showing you guys what it looks like when you get your package. There's no particular order that they have these in, so I kind of just put them in my color order that I have it in here on the side here. Now, one of the best factors when I was shopping online and I was looking for this palette was the way these wells were set up, these pans were set up. I really found this appealing because in the past when I get my tubes, I have to buy separate pans for it, which obviously costs more, but this came with the pans, which was a really nice feature to have. And when I filled the paint into the pans, it was really easy, and I didn't have to do it in 2 steps like I usually do. The reason I used to do 2 steps is to avoid cracking, so usually put like a small layer in, let it dry thoroughly, and then pour another layer on top. With this, I poured the full pan directly, and there's absolutely no cracking in any of them, and they dried really well, and they also re-wet really well. Some of my pans I have to usually spray with water and then wait for it to sit a little bit, but for these ones, I mean, you could just take a wet paintbrush and go straight into it, and they re-wet really, really well. I'm also in the process of making a proper color chart for it. I made up this quick one for myself because obviously the paints in the pan don't look like the colors that they're going to be on paper. So I was just excited to get using it, so I made a quick one and just wrote down the names for myself so that I can color check it and be able to use it a little bit faster. But I know online I've seen a lot of people just make a box like that with the pen shapes on it and then put the color swatches, which is a little bit more accurate and faster to find your colors. So I will be doing that shortly. I just didn't get the chance to do that and I was a little too excited to get started with using it. But as you can see by the color swatches, they're so beautiful. The colors are so bright. I mean, if you love doing hand lettering or florals, this color palette is just great. I mean, the bright opera is beautiful. The permanent rose, peacock blue by far is my favorite color out of all of these, but it has some really great colors. Some of the pigments are a little confusing for me because to me, for example, indigo looks a lot like Payne's gray, and burnt umber, I don't know, even Van Dyke brown. I mean, the names just don't seem to match the colors from what I'm used to in other palettes, but I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. The colors are still beautiful and they still do what I need them to do. As for the pros of this palette, firstly, the price point is great. It's a great value. And also it is a huge variety of colors. They're very intense, they're very vibrant. A little of the paint goes a long way. It's a very saturated color. And there's also very little color shift in it. Color shift, if you're not familiar, is basically when you are painting and the watercolor is wet, it's very bright and very vibrant, the colors, but then when they dry, they tend to get dull and faded. So with these colors, I noticed there's quite a little color shift in it. There's pretty much no color shift in most of the colors. For cons, I find that there is little to no granulation, which is... It depends on whether you like that or not. I personally like it in some of my paintings, and in that case, I just switched to my other set. Daniel Smith colors are really, really great granulation. I find with these, it's pretty much little to none on most of the colors. But again, I don't really use it on paintings that I would need granulation on. But if that's something that you're looking for and you don't have other color palettes, then maybe this might not be the palette for you. The other thing is that if you are a purist and you only prefer pure pigment colors, and some watercolorists do, this might not be the palette for you. Now I know Mijello does make palettes that just have pure pigment colors in it, and you can definitely order that instead. But in this particular palette, it comes with pure and mixed pigments. So if that's a concern for you, then I would opt for the other palettes. Also, if you're not planning on mixing a lot of the watercolors, then I don't see this palette being an issue, and I don't really mix a lot of these particular colors together, so I don't have a problem with that. The other issue is that if you prefer earth toned colors or a larger palette of earth tone colors, this palette doesn't really have that many. It has more of the reds and blues and purples, so that might also be a con for you. But overall, like, the cons for me were very minimal. I still absolutely think this is a great palette. So I've absolutely loved using this palette, and I would recommend from hobbyist artists to crafters to even fine art artists to give this palette a try. It's a very versatile palette. Again, check out the links below, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe.